I went through the whole thing. There's Chris. I know, it's very interesting.
I'm the only one standing.
I saw Chris go this way. It was quite successful.
Well, 3 people and he counted as COVID. But I prefer to try to call it something else.
I might walk around that way.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I'll get it.
I'm not going anywhere near you guys. Would you?
No.
Right, exactly.
I guess I would. These are
Oh, sister.
Yeah, so it's my sister.
Good. Katie's that's gonna be in there.
It certainly is. Not anymore.
Pam, when we switch places, I'm gonna sit in your seat just because this is ridiculous to Roger. Okay. I'm gonna present up there, but then when I pass it off to you, I'm gonna sit there, so then when I go back up, I'm not far.
Parents with his parents.
Yeah, make the jokes that I smell. Katie, your head's gonna be in the back of the camera.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You want me to,
No, you look great. Leave the curls. Poof it up, make it a little higher, make it so
so is it really going to be in the shot?
No, I elevated the camera right above your head. You'll be all right.
Don't let my
You'll be all right. No, you're good.
That's what
I sit in the wrong place, like, like, oh, we can see you. Like, right here.
I did it earlier. When did you give up? I did it earlier.
Oh, yeah.
They're not.
They look like they could be.
But I can't believe you or more people. I went home and I changed. I can't believe you put it on the board that we did. It's been 12 hours.
We used to laugh and we could always tell the difference between her heels and Macy's.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kristen Bedell, and I'm the Finance Committee Chair, and I'm going to call this meeting to order at 6:30 on the dot. Tonight, we start the review of the 2024-2025 itemized estimate of expenditures. Before we even get started, I'd like to thank Ms. Mangini, Ms. Borges for putting everything together and everybody that helped you in between, because I know it's a group effort. We've been talking for a lot of months at this point about how crazy this season is going to be and what a challenge it's going to be for a variety of different reasons. We're all looking forward to a healthy and productive conversation and putting forward the best circumstances for the kids and the staff in the town. So, Ms. Borges, the floor is yours.
walk this way just because it's also a maze. Good evening, members of the Board of Education Finance Committee. I extend my gratitude to each of you for your unwavering commitment to the mission of the Stratford Public Schools through the development of a strong budget. In my new role, as I dove into the intricate process of creating and crafting a budget, it was evident that this task takes on considerable weight, impacting not just us as a finance committee, but also our dedicated teachers, administrators, students, town officials, and all the families that live in Stratford, those with and without children. The collective stress and the responsibility we shoulder reflects our shared dedication to ensuring the best for everyone in Stratford. To navigate this terrain successfully, we must embrace collaboration, compromise, and creative thinking. I hold the firm belief that by working together, we can decipher the complexities of budgeting while keeping the needs of our community at the forefront. The role of the BOE Finance Committee isn't just to propose a budget that meets the needs of the school community, but also to consider the broader impact on our town. By taking a holistic approach, examining the total picture, and actively, we will contribute to the teamwork required to make Stratford an exceptional community. As we embark on our budgeting journey, we're bound to encounter challenging and emotional decisions, and we may not always agree. However, if we address these obstacles with mutual respect for all stakeholders, and we steer clear of blame, we open the doors to building connections and maintaining a solution-oriented mindset. Together, let us begin this collaborative journey, leveraging our diverse perspectives to guide the course to make a better Stratford altogether. Before I get into each of the pieces of this budget, I'm going to take a few moments to review Stratford's strategic operating plan and mission. This is going to offer a brief overview for both our new and our seasoned committee members. Okay, these aspects align us with the driving force behind our budget decisions and support the shared understanding that we navigate during this budget process. The vision of the Stratford Public Schools is that every student will excel in further education, career, and life by embodying key attributes such as effective communication, collaboration, a commitment to lifelong learning, compassion, and engagement as a community member, and the ability to approach challenges as solution-driven problem solvers. It's important for all of you to understand that this looks different for all of the students that attend the Stratford Public Schools. And I strongly encourage over the next month for you to visit a school event or to visit a school so you can see this vision in action with our current student body. Our mission statement. Meeting our mission entails providing an educational experience that goes beyond academic achievement. It involves creating a curriculum that challenges and inspires students intellectually, fostering an environment where students feel safe, included, and supported emotionally and socially. Meeting this mission means nurturing not only academic excellence, but also the personal and social growth of each student, ensuring they are well prepared for the challenges of both education and life. And this committee is going to support that through this budget. Our strategic operating plan revolves around several core principles. First, there is a dedicated focus on supporting the well-being and the social-emotional health of students and staff. Second, the plan is committed to ensuring high-quality instruction and meaningful learning experiences for each and every child, fostering an environment that nurtures academic growth. Additionally, it emphasizes the creation of student-driven plan geared towards preparing students for success in their post-secondary journeys. The recruitment, diversification, development, support, and retention of an exceptional faculty and staff are integral components of this plan, aiming for a team that enriches the overall educational environment. Lastly, the plan underscores the significance of family and community partnerships, actively engaging families and fostering strong connections within the community to enhance the collaborative educational ecosystem. The aspects I just shared are woven in the budget that each of you has been presented. We already said thank you to everyone who put the budget together, but essentially this whole budget book goes through the itemized estimate of expenditures, and it reflects hard work of a large team to put this together for all of you to have in front of you. The total budget proposed for the 24-25 school year is 6.69% increase over the 2023-2024 operational budget. It should come as no surprise that we find ourselves navigating a distinctive fiscal challenge. Largely influenced by the ESSER grant funds, This substantial budgetary demand is a pivotal factor behind the significant request. We understand that 6.6 is a significant request. As demonstrated in the upcoming slides, we have conducted a thorough analysis of the various positions funded by ESSER. And while it is not feasible for us to preserve every position, program, and service, our focus has been on the crucial roles within the SEA and the SAA. We have strategically utilized both Alliance and the operating budget to reintegrate these essential positions into our operational framework. Furthermore, we have factored in certified and non-certified wage increases and the increasing costs of special education, and these components collectively represent the primary budgetary drivers for the current fiscal year. To look into the specifics of these major drivers, I'm going to hand the presentation over to Pam Mangini.
Now, I told you I didn't need you to change these. Which one do I use? This?
The right one, right.
Okay. My husband would tell you I can't tell my rights from my lefts. Okay. Good evening, everyone. As Heather pointed out, the major budget drivers include contractual increases, the end of the ARP ESSER grant funds, which you might have heard me mention once or twice in the last 3 years, increases in the cost of benefits and special education, and the state mandated costs associated with the science of reading and the right to read bill. And that is totaling a 6.9% increase, or would have a 6.9% increase over the fiscal year 24 operating budget. We did identify some areas of reductions that managed to get us down to the 6.69% ask that's currently in front of you. However, it is really important for you to see the entire picture and just kind of get a feel for where we began before we even get to you. As we began the process, we looked at the possibility of presenting a status quo budget that would allow us to maintain staff and services as they exist right now, and of course that would include the ARP ESSER grant funded positions and programs. However, had we done that, as you can see, we would have been around $138 million, or a 10.5% increase. If we take that a step further and included the new initiative requests, new programs, new staffing that we received from all of our school leaders, we would have actually been over $139 million, or 11.48%. Obviously, we realized that that would be an unrealistic request. So as Heather notes, we carefully analyzed all our options that actually ultimately led us to this fiscal year 25 financial plan before you this evening. It is a budget that is about $6 million less than the all-inclusive request of $139 million. Excuse me. As indicated here, this budget proposal shifts over $2.5 million in salaries currently paid through the ESSER grant to the Alliance grant. Of course, this will be pending state approval, and we will talk more about that in just a moment. It also reduces almost $3.5 million in programs supported by ESSER funds, including after-school and summer programs. However, I would like to note that there is funding available in the ARP ESSER grant for the summer of 2025. So we will be able to continue the summer program for one more summer. You may recall that the ARP ESSER grant sunsets on September 30th of 2024. So we do have some time for that to occur. And I misspoke, I meant this summer, summer of 2024. So the proposal also eliminates more than 30 tutor positions, along with SPED contracted supported services that were previously paid through the ESSER grants. So let's talk a little bit about those ESSER positions. We certainly have tried our best, and you have heard my concerns for the past 3 years. And as expected, we do need to add funding to the general operating budget for fiscal year 25 to maintain some of these needed positions. In the fiscal year 25 financial plan before you, these are the positions that we are recommending be added back to the general operating budget. As you can see here, they include 2 athletic directors, 1 special education supervisor, 2 special ed teachers, 1 district nurse floater, I'm on an angle here, 1 curriculum secretary, and 25 classroom instructional assistants. Many of these positions were removed from the general operating budget back in 2021, and some were added through the availability of ESSER funds based on identified needs over the last couple of years. We also are adding back to the fiscal year 25 budget stipends for mental health responders, and that cost is actually $1,000 a month, and that goes through the summer, but again, we are able to take July and August out of the ARP ESSER grant. With taxes and benefits, it is an estimated $1.8 million cost, which actually represents a 1.5% increase over fiscal year 24. So immediately we start there at the 1.5% increase to the budget. This next listing of positions is set to move from the ESSER grant to the Alliance grant in the new fiscal year. And I want to be really clear about a few things as we think about this movement. First, the state is estimating, and I emphasize estimating, an increase to the Alliance grant for Stratford Public Schools for fiscal year 25 of approximately $3 million. We've had preliminary discussions with our program manager regarding the movement of positions from ESSER to the Alliance grant. Accordingly, we hope to be able to move this group of positions that are currently funded in ESSER to the Alliance grant. They include the Supervisor of Music, Art, PE, and Health, 4 department heads, 2 at Bemel and 2 at Stratford High School. The other department heads that had been moved out of ESSER are already in the Alliance grant. 1 Alpha program teacher, 2 elementary teachers, 22 climate specialists, and 12 tutors. With benefits, it's approximately $2.5 million. It's important to note a couple of things. First, this is not supplanting. You have heard me talk repeatedly about supplement versus supplanting when we're talking about our grants. Per the state, it is not supplanting because these positions have not been in our general operating budget now for years. Some of them were never in our general operating budget. Also, this would become part of our Alliance plan for 24-25 school year, but it will have to be approved first by the Board of Ed and then by the State Department of Education. It's also important to note that there could be some adjustments to this plan as state funding could also be adjusted. These are estimates that we are dealing with, along with the fact that we are required to set aside 10% of the allocation for the purpose of increasing educator diversity. So out of that $3 million extra, 10% of it immediately is set aside for the IED purpose. So we, of course, will continue to analyze the Alliance plan and district needs prior to submitting a final plan to the board for approval. So as you can see, in a perfect world, it's not a bad plan, but there are some hurdles that we still need to get through in this area as we work towards a final budget for fiscal year 25 that will actually optimize our funding sources, as we always try to do, utilize our grant monies to the best of our abilities and availability of the funds, and of course to best support our district needs. And I believe, Ms. Heather, I'm going to let you address those, and I'll hang around here since I think I have the next one.
In your budget book, there's a notable recommendation for a program improvement. This was developed over the past 3 years. This improvement focuses on integrating a cohort of seniors into our transition program. Based on the new legislation, these students will now remain with us through the school year of their 22nd birthday. This will elevate our enrollment in our transition program to 34 students. The program enhancement not only meets the needs of our exceptional students, but it also results in significant cost savings by minimizing the necessity for outplacement services. I recognize the substantial elements encompassing the Stratford strategic operating plan and our budgetary constraints, and I understand the complexity for everyone involved. My request to this committee is to prioritize keeping children at the forefront. As we conduct our workshops, let's collaboratively share. Let's discuss, let's compromise, and let's be creative. It's crucial that we approach this process with respect for each other, and that we work together seamlessly.
Yeah, we just wanted to share with you the future budget workshops. I know you've received this a number of times at this point. Obviously, they're very important dates. Also, we wanted to mention once again that as we have in the past, we ask that if at all possible, and whenever possible, that you email us any questions you may have as you spend time reviewing your budget books. As you can see from the actual schedule that we gave you, it's on the front cover of your books. We are going to be looking at these specific areas as we work through reviewing the actual budget in its totality. What this does, it's broken down by object codes, and those of you who have gone through this process before know that I frequently comment on the NCES book. That really does help state and local governments to make certain that account codes are maintained and that we are all comparing apples to apples in that way. So for example, the 100 object code, and that is how your books are broken down, will be something that we will be looking at on Wednesday evening, our first official budget workshop, along with the 200 object code, which is benefits to start. And through those areas, and by doing it in this way, we have found in the last few years that we've been really successful in helping the board work through every area of the budget. So you have an opportunity to ask any questions. The only reason we ask that you try to get us questions in advance is because we feel we can just provide you with more accurate and detailed information. In addition, we take it a step further, and as we receive your questions, Teresa's kind enough to keep a Google Sheet for us with the questions, our responses, and we share it with everyone. In this way, all our finance committee members and our board members are getting the same information. And of course, if there's something during the discussions that come up, we'll do our absolute best to answer your questions. We've been dealing with these numbers now for months. For the most part, I'm usually pretty good remembering things, but I do have my moments as well. So if there's something that we can't answer at that immediate moment, we're happy to get the information to you. Obviously, ultimately, this is your budget. So we want to do everything we can to help support you with information to make the best decisions you can for our kids. But this is our schedule, and Wednesday night will be our first official budget workshop.
So although we don't want to get into the nitty-gritty tonight with individual questions about different object codes, I do want to offer you an opportunity to ask any general questions, knowing that, again, I'm going to reiterate what Ms. Mangini said, these next few sessions are our workshops. And in order for them to be effective workshops, the sooner you ask us your questions, the better we can have engaging conversations to try to make sure that we are putting forward the most responsible budget that's going to meet the needs of our community. Do you want me to stay up here or go there?
You guys can have a seat.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you both for taking the time to present to us tonight. I believe I speak for everybody up here, and that we look forward to getting into the nitty-gritty and reviewing everything that we have going on and doing the work and the due diligence to get us to where we think we need to be. I'm going to open up the floor to any general questions anybody may have to start.
I'm going to take that as a good sign.
I'm gonna take that as a good sign, yeah, we're gonna take that as a good sign.
And again, we realize it's a lot of information, so if I may, just as a suggestion, concentrate on those object codes that are coming up for the next workshop, and again, shoot us any questions you have, because we really want to do our best to make it as clear as possible.
Mr. Henry.
So the Alliance District Plan, I know we're shifting a lot, so can we get a copy of the current Alliance District Plan?
So you can have copies of the old plan. The new plan is what I'm working on right now.
Okay.
So that's, again, takes your approval, the board's approval, so I'm looking at what I proposed there, and that's going into our new proposed plan. I can give you what I'm working on, but it's not finalized yet, as Alliance is coming on March 5th.
Okay. Yeah, just so we can kind of, as we go
Yeah,
forward,
absolutely.
see
Absolutely.
what's going where and if there's opportunities.
I just don't want to share it with you thinking it's finalized, because they're not coming till March 5th, so.
You can make a big note on the
Okay,
top.
I'll make a giant draft.
Draft.
I have a quick question to follow up on that. There was a set of positions that you were suggesting move from about 2.5 million from ESSER to Alliance.
Yes.
What if that Alliance money does not materialize?
So that's kind of what we were saying, is that the state is saying we should get a $3 million increase. We are trusting that, okay? And again, it doesn't sound lovely to trust it, but remember, I trust every year that I'm gonna get the IDEA money they say I'm gonna get, and it doesn't come in right until August. So we are believing that the state is making an accurate statement, that we are going to get the additional $3 million, and that is how we are planning. If it didn't work out, we would be back here,
We'll be back.
right? We're gonna be back here talking about what we need to do, how we can go back to the town, you know, what we can request and how we can make up for that. But let's hope we get 3 million plus some.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just one.
Mr. Carter?
It's more technical on the Alliance funds. The about $5 million the $500,000 difference, is that expected to cover any of the increases of the existing expenses in the Alliance?
So that's what Pam had said, is that when you get Alliance money, 10% of that has to be allocated to minority recruitment strategies. Okay, so we already take that chunk right out.
All right.
Mr. Pia, did you have a question?
I'm sorry, what was the significance of the March 5th? Is that when we'll know from the state, you're saying?
No, March 5th is when Alliance is visiting our district to review the new plan with me and to go over the existing plan.
Okay.
So I can have a better sense of,
Yeah. Pulse where it's going.
yes.
Understood, thank you.
Mr. O'Brien?
What are you hearing about ECS grant money for this coming year?
Actually, I did just recently, I've been following that very closely. It does look like there's a possibility so far that the governor may have been recommending some reductions to education supports overall, but it does look like so far no one is looking to touch the ECS grant amounts, and that is what the state provided their estimate to us based on. So obviously the governor will be presenting his budget next week, or is it any day now? I apologize, I've lost track of the dates, but it could even be Wednesday or Thursday. And that will be telling, and we will follow that process very carefully. We always do. Actually, Dawn and I do sometimes talking, comparing notes of what we're hearing.
Just a note to everybody, on, I believe it's the 14th, CAVE is doing a budget overview of the governor's presentation, so that has been helpful to watch the past couple of years. So. I think it's 14th.
I would just suggest not many of us watch it. Not on Valentine's Day. Might get in trouble.
No, it's not in the evening, it's during work day, it's okay. Just take a couple hours.
Actually, February 8th.
The presentation, it's a week earlier. Nothing else.
When is it?
February 8th at 11 a.m.
And they'll send us a link, I assume?
Thank you.
Yeah, they sent it to us.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? Okay, well, I think that was all we had on our agenda tonight.
Mhm.
Next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday to start, the 7th, to start diving in. Until then,
Madam Chair?
Mr. Henry?
The 26th?
Oh, yeah, we can, okay, so before we adjourn, we can do that. There is a schedule, as Ms. Borges showed, for the budget workshops through the month of February. They were set some time ago, and there may be a meeting missing because we don't do the finance meetings right before the board meetings anymore. So there is actually no finance meeting scheduled the night of the 26th. We'd like to add a finance meeting that evening at 6 p.m. to kind of wrap up the budget and hopefully move forward a proposed budget to the full board for vote that night.
And is there a mandatory deadline that we need to pass our budget by? Or-
The town in the past has requested, the mayor's office has requested that we get our budget to them by the first week in March. Because the mayor has to submit her budget to the town council by, I think Chris would probably know better than I, March 12th or some time in between there. So while we certainly do try to give them ideas of where it's going and our percentage increase, because that is primarily the number they're looking for, we have always, since I have been here, gone into them no later than like March 4th or 5th. And we need a few days to put it together after.
Would, I know, Ms. Borges, you mentioned March 5th, I think, is the date.
That alliance is coming.
So would it make sense for us to hold off, or you
No,
feel? Okay.
No, I think we just have to trust with what the state is saying, and we're gonna move forward that way.
Okay.
So that meeting, the night of the 26th, will be noticed as a special meeting, and we'll move forward from there. Okay. Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hendrick, second by Mr. O'Brien, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, everyone.